The lines are getting really faint, but today I'm going to use these lines and these notes to finish that ductwork over to this wall and down here to where the miter saw is going to be. But first, I'm off by about 3.5 inches with the main trunk, and I need to get that adjusted before I do anything with the branch here. First thing I'm going to do is loosen up that bolt up there and turn the main intake chamber just a little bit. That may be all it takes to get this over that 3.5 inches. But if not, the pipe is still just riveted, so I should be able to move the pipe just a little bit as well. I should have no problem. So let's get up there and loosen that bolt. Okay, let me show you what I did here. We got this, it's probably 1/8 of an inch over the line this way. We're just going to leave it like that for now. I have a ratchet strap pulling it. What I did was drilled out the rivets on this. It was the pipe that was crooked, not the collector itself. So now that the pipe is straight, I'm just going to leave the ratchet strap on there and get to work on the miter drop. I'll use that for some final adjustments a little bit later and then get this re-riveted and taped and stuff. Also, that elbow right there is still loose. I can still turn those sections, so that'll give me a little bit of flexibility as well. So what I'm going to do over here, I got a ton of notes here. What I need to do is figure out how long of a piece between there and the elbow over here. So what I'm going to do is put the elbow on the floor and drop a plumb from the end there down to the line and measure the distance between the two. I also have this assembly here, which is 2 elbows and a little bit of a straight, to make this easy sweep 45, or make this easy 90-degree sweep, which is going to go right there and then down to the miter. I need to assemble that and put it the distance of my bracket. That's going to be about 1 inch. Well, it should be exactly 1 inch. I got to make the brackets as well. So put it like on the floor about 1 inch away, and then we can measure the distance from the wall to the end of this elbow, and then that should come in here somewhere. And then I can figure out from the elbow that's sitting right here, I can figure out what that distance is as well. So once I have all of those distances and stuff, I can pre-assemble this chunk, and well, actually I should be able to pre-assemble the whole thing. I don't know. I'll figure that out as we're making this stuff. But the first thing to do is get that plumb bob and mark the location of the end of the pipe right there. Problem with this ductwork is that it's so stiff, it'll hang without even the hangers being touching it. It's hanging from where it's hanging over there and this hanger here. So it was hanging too high and a little bit that way. So we got another set of straps, just pulled it down and towards me a little bit, and it's almost dead on the line. The new problem is that this bracket right here, let me show you what they look like. Oh, actually I got one over here. The bracket, which is a 3/8 inch threaded hole, and I have an eye bolt in there right now. The bracket is a little bit beyond where the bend is going to be, and it has to be right where it is because we have a joist running that way and there's no structure in other places up there. So I'm gonna try it the way it is. It'll go a little bit sideways on the elbow, and that may be all right. But if it's not, I can just use that threaded hole and bolt a piece of angle iron or some kind of maybe flat stock that is yay long and put a hole through it that way and just shift the bracket over this way a little bit. Yeah, about 10 inches. That should work. Okay, so with my mark on the floor, I need to get an elbow on the floor right here and get some measurements. Okay, let me show you what I got here. On this end, we're an inch away from the wall, and my brackets are going to be an inch away from the wall, so that's right where it needs to go. This distance right here, I add 1.5 inches on this side and 1 inch on this side. The pre-crimped ends are 1 inch crimp, and my crimper makes 1.5 inch crimp. So we add 2.5 inches to that, and we come up with 12.25, and then same thing on here, inch crimp on this end, 1.5 inch crimp on that end, and we come up with 41.75. So I should be able to just make up those two parts and start assembling this. I can assemble, I think I'm going to assemble this one fixed, get the end taped and everything, and then probably the straight piece on this, and then I want some flexibility at the wall, and I'll have to make those two brackets and all that stuff as well. Let's start by assembling some, well actually I probably got some assembled already. I'll have to look out in my stockpile. That's one of them right there. That can be that one. Oh, and this is, yeah, this is 6 inch. But I have a ton of stuff out here. This is probably 5. That's definitely 5 right there. And then I have a bunch that would need to be rolled up. And in here somewhere, I have household HVAC stuff mixed in. So I really got to watch out for that. You can tell by the weight. And if I mix in any of that household HVAC stuff, it'll collapse under the pressure of the collector. Yeah, this is definitely not HVAC. Let's get, I think this is 6 inch though. Yep, that's 6 inch. Okay, I'll get it figured out and we'll get those pieces cut up. Unfortunately, this pre-assembled piece was just a little bit too short, so I assembled this one, and the crimp on these is 2 inches. It's 1 inch on the elbows and 2 inches on this pipe. I don't know if the new pipe from Oneida has these 2 inch crimps on, but this certainly does. So I just adjusted the length a little bit. We'll cut that out of here, and we will still use this little chunk right here, and we'll cut the end off. And that'll be our 2 pieces of pipe. We'll get that riveted up. And yeah, like I said, I can just strap some wire up there and get this hung up there. And what I did was this elbow with this in place, I laid it out so that the new location would land right here. That's this line right here, and then measured to the existing, and I got that information here so I can make up that bracket. I'll need to run and get some hardware for that, but I can do that at any time. I should be able to hang it right from that. So let's get all this stuff done and hopefully hoist this up there, and then I can start working on those brackets after that. Okay, we're right on the line right there, and you can see this is where the new bracket will lie, and these are right on the lines as well. And then this needs just a little bit of adjustment, but that really doesn't matter. So now I got to take this apart and straighten up these gores a little bit and get these three riveted together, and then yeah, I can rivet these two together and then just put this in loose. That has to turn that way, and then we'll get a temporary wire on that and hoist this up into place. Yeah, before I get anything else attached over here, I want to have them two brackets in place and have a piece of pipe going up that I can set that into, and then get everything all adjusted before fixing anything in place. But it is definitely going well so far. Okay, got that first piece in place. It's just hanging loosely from that bracket there. That bracket's in the wrong place, so it's gonna pull it that way. I need to get those wall brackets on there and get a nice stiff piece of pipe going up and connect that far end. Then I can pull it straight where it needs to be. It needs to come over that way. You can probably see it from this angle. Yeah, it goes straight and then crooked like that. And check it out from this angle. Yeah, you could see that it's bent out that way, and it needs to point straight at that smaller rib right there, which it will do as soon as I get it off of that bracket there and connected to that pipe going up. So next thing to do is go through the scrap wood and find a piece that I can cut up, and we'll make a couple brackets and get those attached to the wall. Okay, I got one of the brackets laid out. Pretty simple stuff. Just went up 3.5 inches and then did a 5-inch circle. Got the 1 inch of meat here. I'm going to cut this on the miter saw and then cut this with the jigsaw, sand it to the line. I think I'm going to make 2 of these, and when I install them, I'm going to drill a couple countersinks and then get a screw into the wall here and here. I want 2 screws so it doesn't spin, and on the wall I'll just put a nice level line and keep it right on that, and that should do it. Okay, that looks really nice. I got a lot of tweaking to do. It's going downwards a little bit right now, but I can solve that by just loosening these clamps a little bit and pushing that up just a tad. I need to get the hanger made for that, and I'll probably remake maybe both of these hangers right here. It should be fairly easy to do, but I gotta run to town for a little bit of the materials, so it's definitely not happening today. That is pretty good, but like I said, everything needs adjustment. It's just slid into the joint right here. That's loose, and it's loose over here as well. So once I get everything tweaked, I can actually pull that a little bit over to that conduit. It probably isn't going to need it, but I can if I need to. So I'll get everything tweaked, get everything level, get everything plumb. Then I'll put the last of the rivets in, tape up the gores on the joints, and then we'll take this stuff off and it should be good to go. I'm not sure which video is going to come up next. I bought a bunch of plugs so I can plug up most of these open ends and install my remote switch there, and I can test out this motor. This thing hasn't been turned on in 21 years, so that'll be kind of interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to show all of the adjusting and all that stuff. I probably won't. And right after that, I got to get all this stuff in this corner is now going to go in this corner. This corner is completely done. I don't have to get over there for anything. So we're going to move this stuff over into there, and I'm going to restart on putting the walls in. I'm going to get the walls up to right about here, and then start working on the mini split. Getting kind of tired of working in the heat here. So a lot of good videos coming up. Make sure you subscribe and stop back to see them.